Welcome in. You're listening to Medical Spa Insider, presented by the American Med Spa Association. This week, AmSpa founder Alex Thiersch is in person with Education Director Kirstie Jackson to preview the agenda for the Medical Spa Show.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the podcast. This is Alex Thiersch. This is Medical Spa Insider. We have in the AmSpa Clubhouse, Kirstie Jackson, the lovely and talented Kirstie Jackson, who is our Director of Education and is this year and from now until eternity, because she's done such a good job, taking over full planning and authority of the Medical Spa Show. And we're so grateful to have you. We're here to talk about the Medical Spa Show, the agenda, what we have going. For those of you who don't know, April 9th through 12th at the Wynn in Las Vegas. It's the biggest, it's the best conference in all of aesthetics, I think, bar none. We've got, just for some context, for those of you who haven't been, this will be our 9th year putting the Med Spa Show on. We're looking for close to 2,000 attendees, 3,000 total folks in general, including speakers and exhibitors. We'll have close to 1,000 different practices from across the country or more who are in attendance. And in the exhibit hall, we'll have, I want to say 200 exhibitors or 200 companies that are there. It's a really, really cool place. If any of you who are in the medical spa industry or aesthetics, you're looking to get into aesthetics, it's a great place to go. Kirstie, you are not new to the industry, but you bring a different perspective to the Medical Spa Show. I'm very excited to see what you've created. First of all, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Do you need oxygen or an IV?
Probably both. It's definitely the agenda is a behemoth. So there's a lot to coordinate and organize, and we try to work with as many of our speaker abstract submissions as we can. We try to include new voices, new perspectives, and this is separated across 4 days of education. And on some days there are 8 tracks going at one time. So it's a lot to juggle and a lot of voices to be heard and partnered in the right way, and making sure that each session is delivering something new. So it's kind of like a very interesting and challenging puzzle, but I do enjoy a challenge.
It is, and it's been interesting because the conference has grown. We're here to talk mostly about the education. There's obviously a bunch of social events, and we do all of that very well. There's networking and there's time with the exhibitors, but this is mostly about the education, and that's what your background is. You come from the education side, working at a large derm practice. You're for the first time, we really have this kind of resident expertise on which you have, and you're in charge of the agenda in terms of which allows us to focus a little bit more on some of the real nuances and specifics that are going on in the industry, which I think is very exciting. I'm curious though, like, first of all, last year at MSS was your first time going, right?
Yeah, it was.
What did you think? I'm curious. You're from the derm side a little bit, so what did you think?
Yeah, I've been to many a conference in my time, and I like to think of it more as aesthetic medicine, because I've been with the derms, the plastics, yep, and kind of med spa space too. I was incredibly impressed with the Medical Spa Show. I thought it is a large space, so yes, there's going to be a lot of walking involved, but despite that, it being so large, there was enough travel time to walk. I think the attendees are very well looked after when they're there. There's a lot of thought and consideration gone into the experience. Our marketing team do a phenomenal job, and the events department do too. They think of everything, where you get coffee, where you get refreshments. Is there a place outside where you could take a breather and hang out? What do the parties and, the community areas look like? The themes, it's just all very thoughtful. And I really do feel as an attendee, you experience that at a very high level when you go. It's not that you don't get that elsewhere. I just think, it it becomes very clinical in some spaces because it is clinical information. But we also, in the med spa world, like things to look and feel experiential. We teach you all that that's really important for your med spas. And I think that I really felt that being a first time attendee last time.
Yeah, every time I'm at the med spa show, I'm always so impressed with the marketing team, the meeting team at the Wynn, all of us, because the amount of logistical interaction that goes into that is amazing. So talking about the agenda, though, what was I mean, the agenda has always been amazing. Our team has always been amazing at putting it together. We're always trying to balance, number one, new participants to the market who are coming in, learning about the industry. It's a great place to come if you want to learn about what the med spa industry is, things like that. Also new folks to the actual event. But at the same time, you also have to balance, now that we're in 2026, med spas are not a new thing anymore. There's a lot of more mature providers and businesses that are looking for more advanced education. How did you go about balancing that? And must have been such a challenge. I've seen, the drafts. It makes my head spin even seeing it. How did you approach that when you're thinking about, okay, we're going to put together this agenda. We've got things that we talk about, things that we want to talk about, things that we've talked about in the past, but we want to do new things and new speakers. How does that work? How do you possibly get your head around that?
Well, it begins with I am at heart a data nerd. So I practice what I preach when I speak to med spas about like, your KPIs. I begin there too, but I'm just like data mining. Okay, what did we do last year? We track which classes are the most popular classes, so I can see what historically has done well. I look at all the survey data of what the attendees want to experience from us next time. I look at all the submission information, and there are often common trends that our experts from the industry are telling us, hey, like we need to address this, like regenerative medicine would be an obvious one right now, and just industry trends in general. So I've collaborated with all of those ideas and thought also as well about, what I personally have seen at other conferences or things in the industry that I know are being talked about a lot that maybe there's not a lot of clarity on, and using all that in a way. So on our agenda this year, we've also kind of put flags and categorizations, and you will see this in the app as well. I feel like I have to shout out Julia from our team because she's amazing and she works with the app. But
Yes.
It's going to identify the class as age of business. So like, is the class, what year of business would it be appropriate for? And also, is it beginner, intermediate, or advanced? And so you should be able to filter a few things on the agenda this year that you haven't before. And if you are newer to the industry, maybe you want to target the more beginner, intermediate classes. And if you are more advanced, it should tell you which classes are more appropriate for you as well.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was brilliant. And I don't recall ever seeing that at other conferences, because it does give you a chance to kind of filter out, by virtue of what the class is, who should be going from your team. Should you be going or not? I think people are going to love that because it does allow you to say, this is more an advanced class. This is more of a beginner class. Very, very cool. Was that your idea?
Yeah, but it's also functional too. It's a functional component of the app, and something that our team was providing the feedback. We've all thought it.
Yeah.
Hey, is there a way we can? And now we're in the position where the software will allow for it. So we're going to do it.
That's awesome. Well, I want to talk about the process of kind of selecting topics and speakers, because it's always something that we're dealing with. Now we deal with it every year. You're kind of right in the middle of it, and it's difficult because we get so many submissions. We want everyone to be involved. You just can't. How many submissions did we get for speaker talks this year?
Over 450.
450. Okay. That's crazy. How many speakers do we have roughly? Do we know?
I think it's around 77 right now. But it does kind of change, and we're still building out parts of the agenda, so there may even be increases to that.
Right.
It's quite a large faculty, I think, as far as conferences go. And yeah, it can be challenging. Like I want to thank everyone, first of all, that's listening to this and say, we greatly appreciate your support and your inspired content ideas. And, they really, it gives us a lot to start from and with. It's obviously very challenging because to me, my thought behind it is we obviously get a lot of duplications, and how do you select? And a lot of that comes from keeping the voices broad and balanced, and I try to be as fair as possible. Obviously, we have partnerships with industry greats, AmSpa friends. We love them. We continue to work with them, but it's also important to have and hear new voices and new perspectives and new people who are kind of like challenging industry norms. I think it's important that they have a voice too. So it is a balancing act, and we're trying to do our best, and the intention is never to disappoint anyone.
Yeah.
And there are honestly lots of ways to work with us. So like we have a webinar series separately about like complications management, and there were so many submissions about handling complications this year. We still do the panel. The panel's happening. It's one of our favorites. But some of those I do intend to maybe reach out to people and pivot to a different format in which we can share their education. Well, so again, we can't please everyone, but we really appreciate it, and we do try.
Yeah, it's tough. And I mean, if you're talking about 400 plus submissions, that's a lot of people that we're unfortunately saying no to. But please, 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 for those of you who weren't chosen, keep submitting, because we always need new people. It's tough because they're, especially in this industry, which is, it's not new, but it's still growing and kind of growing up. And even every year we see new people who are very dynamic with new ideas that clearly are game changers for the future. And you want to involve them, and balancing that with the folks who have been kind of luminaries in the industry for a long time is really, really, you don't want to disappoint anybody, but it's important to make sure that we're highlighting the new voices. What I always struggle with is just, we always get new people who have never been to the medical spa show every single year. And so we're trying to kind of recycle the courses and the classes that we know have been very, very popular in the past. We've done some of these courses, this will be our 9th year. It's hard to kind of keep doing those over and over again, but some folks have never seen it. So it's really, really tough to juggle that. I think what you put together has been amazing.
Thank you.
What about the agenda is new and different that kind of most excites you?
Well, on Thursday, I like to call Thursday our pre-conference workshop day, because they really are kind of like a start to finish proprietary course, if you will. We're doing an aesthetic tech innovation and AI summit. And what this is designed to do is to kind of demystify the use of automation and software. I think it can become very confusing very quickly, especially for smaller businesses that are still growing and learning what they need, or maybe businesses who've got to the point where everything was manual and they're like, we can't do this anymore. We need to implement some software and some tech or some support somewhere, but they just don't know where to begin. And we see this show up in aesthetic medicine in the form of EMR. We see it in the form of lead management systems. We see it in the form of customer relationship management systems. We see it in the form of like AI and virtual support staff, customized dashboards. That's been something that people ask me about a lot, like how to filter all the data in from different channels into one huge space. And just, the capabilities for photography capabilities and AI overall. So I think that track is brand new, and is an opportunity to work with industry partners. I think, we are in a very privileged position where we get to work with these titans of industry, these big, amazing and knowledgeable companies, and they are resources for us. And it's kind of my way of like saying, let's pay it forward and introduce you to some of these people who could really inspire or help your businesses. And A lot of these people, they're my phone of friends. Like I'm literally sharing my phone of friends with you. Like meet them, enjoy them, like be educated from them, and hopefully you can have further clarity for how to implement that in your medical aesthetic practice as well. So I think that one's a really big one. And then on Sunday we also are doing. I like Sunday, the spread of classes a lot on Sunday as well. So Sunday we have provider versus provider, which we did last year, but the topics will change this year. And what that is I was trying to think of what is a new way to learn where we can really understand there's more than one way to achieve a great clinical outcome. And or maybe like there's a better way that we hadn't considered before. And it's going to be like a quick kind of 10 to 12-minute video from 2 different providers on one aesthetic. They will all be assigned an aesthetic topic. We've got one on the perfect lip. We've got one on the skin revival of a sun worshipper, like how we're going to correct some of that sun damage. And the goal is that we play the videos to you all, and anyone who's in the room with us, they get to vote on their favorite, and the providers will be there. They can take a few questions and why they chose that method and approach. So that's kind of interesting, a novel way to learn.
Different ways of approaching the same problem, which is great. And people do it different ways, and then you can get it. That's the best way to get a discussion going, and that's awesome.
And then we have the advanced leadership track on Sunday. This is exactly what it says, and this is by request, really. It's something that the survey responses, we see it, we see it come through every year. Okay, well, I want to know how to do leadership at a higher level. Maybe I've done it at a basic level, or maybe, you know, I feel confident in my abilities as a business owner, leader. I think my emotional intelligence is a good place. What skills and practical tips can you give me for how to be a better leader, maybe in a larger practice or utilizing some of these different softwares? And we're working with a great team from ACG Practice Partners, and I love this topic. I'm going to be a part of that track. I love seeing you all there. So advanced leadership track is new.
And we know who the true leaders are because you're there on Sunday after 4 long days and nights, and the folks who drag themselves off the carpet into that, which people do. I'm always amazed at the number of people, but we'd love to have more folks stay, but it's hard.
Right.
But the folks who come, that is such a cool, everything that happens on Sunday is innovative, different, very, very exciting and cool. And everyone's just a bit hungover and tired.
I know. And honestly, I thought about that when I was particularly with the provider versus provider track, simply because we know you come to spend time with us to have a good time. And we know there's going to be some celebrating. And so it's kind of an easier way for you to show up and learn, but we've got the videos already there for you. So, you know, there's no like as much hands-on. And then also on Sunday, we have conversations about controversial issues. I think that's always a really interesting one because that's where again, more challenging conversations, the more hot button issues, we're speaking about the things that sometimes are left unspoken conversations occur.
Yes.
And we also will be doing, Terry Ross will be with us, and she's going to be doing a kind of a combination of running reports on your KPI metrics, but translating them into how does this mean for the growth of my business? So for example, how does my data tell me maybe when I need to hire another provider or increase my pricing? And then when I'm implementing these changes, how am I training my staff so we can execute this successfully? So there's going to be a little mini course of that happening on Sunday as well.
That's awesome. And she's awesome. And everyone loves Terry Ross. And on Thursday, we're still doing the M&A Summit with Skytail and Perdidato, which is, for those of you, this is like our 5th year in a row of doing that. I can't remember. But that's always a big hit because anyone who's looking at potentially selling, wanting to sell, the whole process, it's a great, great course. And I can't wait to see what that is. Anything different about that, or is it how's that going to look?
I think it's just incorporating more voices and more partnerships, people who have done it multiple times and can just provide some clarity. I think that track is really great because when someone approaches you, and it probably will happen if you're doing your job right in a med spa, someone's going to approach you at some point about buying you out.
If you haven't already been.
Right. I mean, in my last practice, it was like almost a weekly occurrence. You don't really know what to ask or how to handle it until you're in it. And that's often too late. So if it's something that you're considering, or is just, something like in the back of your mind, and you just want to get informed, I think it's a really great place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to ask about the interaction between regenerative medicine, wellness. I don't even know what to call it, because people call it different things, and it's all kind of become part of the same bucket, mixing in with aesthetics. We're seeing it all over, and we're seeing it in the kind of the wellness category where they start trying to bring in aesthetics. We're seeing it a ton in our industry. How has that changed the approach to creating education? Because everyone's demanding it. There's the hot button issues right now are dealing with exosomes and peptides and all that stuff, and it's all front and center, and the med spas and the derms and surgeons are all involved in it, so we have to talk about it. How did you go about getting that stuff front and center when it's not necessarily the traditional injectables, energy device courses that we normally deal with?
Well, I think two ways. One is the wonderful and brilliant Dr. K. We've partnered with her for a regenerative medicine
awesome.
track for many years, and she is working with us again this year. And she and I have had conversations on this, and very much discussed what conversations are happening in the industry now, and making sure that the material on that track is addressing some of those concerns. So one, we are modifying and tweaking the material in that track to make it relevant to what is happening in industry. And then some of these, yes, there is some overlap with some of these categories. Like we call it wellness or regenerative medicine, or just holistic med. It has many umbrella terms, and the treatments themselves individually are quite unique and different. So how I tried to think about this for the main agenda was from the inside out. I was thinking, wellness from the inside out, and thinking about GLP-1s and IV and peptide therapy, exosomes, PDGF, how they're being used. So you'll see individual classes on some of those things that are very targeted, but you will also have the Dr. K and prestigious medical experts track. She has some very special people in her back pocket that she's bringing to the conference with her. So yeah, I think that's how I tried to think about it. And
she has is it a whole day long track?
It's
or a half day?
It's half day.
Half day.
It's a half
day. That's but a whole half day dedicated to the regenerative medicine by Dr. K. That's awesome. Yeah, all of those things are going to be front and center. We're going to talk about obviously the hot button topics with PDGF, which is obviously happening right now. We're going to have legal opinions. I'm in the final stages of wrangling one, if not two, lawyers from the FDA to come in and chat, although we'll see about that. But that's the goal. And just the idea to bring these different disparate opinions together, because that's a really, really difficult issue to talk. And it shouldn't be in controversies because everybody is kind of doing it. It's right there front and center. Are you at all nervous about any of these issues?
Not really, because I think that the conversation needs to be had.
Yeah.
It's the elephant in the room. And I think we're all professionals, and most people I've spoken to have had the opinion that it's okay to disagree. And actually we want to hear these differing opinions because it might make us think or feel differently about how we're approaching the topics. And some providers have pivoted and changed their mind on, I was offering X and now I'm not. And I think all of these things are fine. What it boils down to is I've spoken about this before, like, and I'm not a clinical provider. I joke, I know enough to be dangerous, but like there are a lot of things that we use in the medical world. Spironolactone is one of them. It has been used off-label by dermatologists for over 20 years for treatment of hormonal acne in women, and it is not FDA approved for that purpose. It is an oral medication that is not FDA approved for that purpose. And I see some similarities with how the industry approaches the PDGF of it all, because it's not FDA approved for the purpose in which some providers are choosing to use it. I think we need to have a very mature, professional, and sensible conversation around the why we should, why we could, why we shouldn't, and legally if we are going to take that route, like how we support ourselves so we are still compliant. And I think that's where the insecurity is coming from a lot of practitioners and clinicians. They're just like, I don't know how to do this safely, or I don't know where the line, the boundary is. Or maybe they do just be like, I'm a hard no, but I still want to listen to this conversation. And then you might have those providers that are like, I'm passionate about this because I've seen the amazing outcomes my patients have had, and I want to help other people do this the right way. So I think there's many perspectives here. We just have to be professional and open and know that it's our licensure, or it's not mine, the provider's licensure, and they should protect and choose what serves them and their business that is legal and compliant.
Yeah, that's a put better than I could. What for folks who are wanting, that's a kind of a level 2 conversation for folks who are in the industry. And I always tell people, if you want to get into the industry, if you're looking to start a med spa, get into it, it's a great place to start. How do we make the agenda? How did you make the agenda not so intimidating for folks who are new, right? Who want to come and just kind of learn some of the basics. And we have those types of courses as well. We have courses on compliance and that. And how did you go about figuring that out? And what can folks kind of pay attention to with respect to the beginner courses?
I think that you can't ignore them because, again, it comes down to like there are new, fresh takes and perspectives on treatments that we've been providing for our patients for a really, really long time. The session I'm thinking about now is called, we lovingly call it Trendy Talks, and I see this on Instagram a lot, and it's like where we would target a full face rejuvenation with our neuromodulator, and where we injected 10 years ago is maybe not where we're injecting now. And it's still a full face treatment. It's still something as a provider, whether you're like entry level or maybe been doing things for a while, that is something that you need to know about. So it's taking these traditional topics and thinking about how can we present this in a fresher way that is more meaningful, or it's not just like your standard, this is how to inject a lip class. It's going to be, no, we're going to talk about changes in technique, how techniques advance. Let's talk about lip anatomy. That's what we're trying to achieve. So yes, it's going to still be very meaningful and relevant for someone who is newer, and hopefully not intimidating, because it's going to teach you how to improve your lip injection technique, just as a full face treatment is going to teach you how to do that, but still be in a unique and hopefully more interesting way that has modified with the times and provides something that is inspiring and thoughtful for the learner.
And we'd be remiss not to mention the Academy for Injection Anatomy cadaver course on Sunday with the world-renowned anatomist, Dr. Kirstie, who is hosting his cadaver course, which is amazing. That's Sunday morning also, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's always sells out. So if you want to go to that, buy now, buy early, because that thing always fills up. That's happening as well.
Honestly, the cornerstone of every injectors' safety protocol should be that they have attended a cadaver training class. We can't speak highly of it enough. I think it safeguards you. Like once you start understanding the anatomy of the face, you as a provider learn where you are and are not comfortable injecting or treating. And that is important for you to know, because maybe you're in a position where speaking to the new versus more experienced, if you're newer, maybe you're not super confident injecting temples yet. And going to a cadaver class, if you haven't been to one, you wouldn't maybe know that you didn't feel that way about that particular area of the face.
That's right.
And if you are a more advanced injector, I think having a refresher and doing these things more than once, it just only goes to serve your commitment to being the best provider that you can be and advancing your practice too. So very important class.
Also, for the first time, praise the Lord, we are having live injections at the MedSpa show, which is something that we've been trying to do for a long time, and we've figured out all the mechanisms to get it to happen. We're very excited about that. We're finalizing kind of who's going to be doing that and how that's going to work, but that's exciting too. I think that changes a lot and makes it really gives people a whole different perspective on, when you see somebody injecting versus just seeing a video of it. What are you excited about with that?
Oh, so much. Simply because going back to the surveys that everyone that comes to the show, they all want this. So I've seen it come in, and it's always, my heart sinks when historically I've seen it, because I'm like, we can't provide this because the Wynn has never been in a position to allow us to do that. And now we are. Yay. This is hot off the press. So
Yes.
This decision only came in very recently.
It's not an easy thing. It's something we've been working on for years, and kudos to the Wynn and all of the people who have helped. So it's a big deal, and we're very excited about it.
But yeah, I think it gives us a great opportunity, because we've already had submissions from world-class injectors that want to do a demo. And historically, I would have had to ask them to pivot to something more didactic. And now I can start approaching people. So for all you guys that submitted out there, I'm going to start approaching people to create an agenda of live injections for I can't tell you what those are going to be quite yet, but I hope to cover some of the major categories. So our biostimulators, our neuromodulators, et cetera, et cetera.
We will have a lot of information on that coming shortly, because this is hot off the press, like you said. So we're super excited about that. Where can people find out more information about the agenda? And I know we're going to have more information. This is still in progress. We're still developing, and we've got more to figure out with the opening session, where we're going to have some really cool keynote speakers. I'm excited about that. But where can folks go to learn more and
I think
sign up?
The website is because this is a living, breathing thing. And there are often kind of like last minute changes or switches to the agenda. The website is always the most up-to-date version of doing that. I think we're almost in a position where our team will be able to start publishing what the agenda looks like in its full entirety. There is printed materials. I think following us on socials is really important, because snippets will keep trickling out through that channel as well. But yeah, just keep connected, and through the membership team, if you have any questions or specific questions, they can definitely direct you to me or someone else within the team that can help. But website, socials, probably the best places.
I can't wait. I mean, it's already middle of January, so we're 3 months out, under 90 days, which is crazy. It's going to be, I already know it's going to be our biggest event yet. We're tracking for more people than we've ever had. We're going to have more exhibitors than we've ever had, more sponsors than we've ever had. The Wynn is an amazing place. For those of you who haven't experienced it, please come. It's going to be so much fun. It's the energy, the vibe, the excitement. We'll have a lot more to talk about as we get closer. But what else? I'll give you the last word. what's your favorite streaming show right now? What are you
My
watching?
favorite streaming show.
What are you watching right now?
Fallout.
Oh, is that right? I
Hmm.
would not have pictured you as a Fallout girl.
Well, yeah.
That said, kudos to you. I like it. You like it. Why do you like it?
It's just like a fun show. I probably like Slow Horses better, but the season ended, so yeah.
Yes. I'm looking for a show. I wonder if my wife would like Fallout. I'll have to try. I'll let you all know. I'll let you all know. Thank you so much, Kirstie, and thank you for all your hard work on this. It's been truly amazing, and you've stepped up and picked up and done an incredible job with this. Can't wait for everyone to see the results. And we look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you to our producer, Madeline Muller, Marketing Content Coordinator, who organizes the podcast schedule and guests and provides topics and talking points. Audio and video editing, voiceover, graphics, and platform management has been provided by myself, Derek Hawk, Digital Marketing Supervisor. Our theme is provided by Maka Music. Thank you for listening or watching to the Medical Spa Insider Podcast. Please follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future episodes. For more information about the American Med Spa Association, visit americanmedspa.org. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by AmSpa. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity that they represent. AmSpa provides this podcast as a public service for educational purposes only. This podcast does not constitute legal advice, nor does it establish an attorney-client relationship. Please consult with an attorney on your legal issues. And as always, thank you for listening to the Medical Spa Insider. Remember, compliance is cool.